Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Fans React video. I absolutely love these videos, but this is my first ever one hosting. Hal said that he couldn't do it. He's out doing something, and I don't know what it is. So let's just say he's watching Barbie at the cinema or something like that. Ole is out at the cricket, so you've got me. So apologies about that, and apologies to the guy that last night said I was the most negative Sheffield United fan alive. We drew 2-2 with Everton yesterday. We're going to find out from some fans right now if that was a good result, a bad result, or an indifferent result. Let's bring in Riley first and foremost. How are you doing, mate?
Hello, Nick.
How's it going?
Yes, all right.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Before we start, you might hear a baby in the background shouting. He's just learned how to open doors. So we've tried to lock him in. My wife tried to lock him in downstairs, but he keeps opening the door and shouting to me. So if that's what you hear, that's what you hear. So first of all, Riley, James McAtee was unveiled before the game as officially a new signing. That's obviously fantastic news, and we want to see that. But at the same time, is it a little bit annoying that we keep unveiling these players on the day of the game and we can't get them signed up for the game?
I mean, yeah, everyone would have wanted him to be registered in time for. I think a lot of people thought he would have been. I mean, it were going around on Twitter that he had been registered, then he hadn't been registered, and he couldn't play. But
it sounds very Sheffield United, doesn't it? Because we had the same with Gus Harmer. Yeah, we had the same with I can't remember who the one before was. It was Vinny Souza, then it was Harmer, then it was Cameron Archer, wasn't it, for the Man City game? But how much is James McAtee going to have a say on this season?
Hopefully a lot. I mean, it'd be handy if he did, but I think he's a bit hard at minute with as options we've got. How do you fit him in?
How do you fit him in? What would you say?
Well, I'm not sure because yesterday I saw a lot of people suggesting that we should drop Norwood, and I don't agree with that, to be honest. I've got quite a strong stance on it. I don't think we can take Norwood out of the team. I don't think we have anyone who can replace his qualities, really, what Norwood brings. So I really don't know where you fit McAtee in.
Yeah, you're a bit of a stat man yourself, aren't you? So I would. The thing is, if you're saying this, I completely believe you, and I think a lot of fans are thinking because Norwood's a defensive midfielder, and so is Vinny Souza as well.
Yeah,
they think that he will just slot in there and it'll be absolutely fine. But that is not the case, is it?
No, I don't think. I don't think Souza could do some work Norwood does on the ball.
No,
I mean, he's brilliant off at ball, Souza. Don't get me wrong; he can make a brilliant tackle, but I don't think he can ping a pass in the same way Norwood can.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And I think a good time to bring in Ewan to the stream because Ewan is an absolute Vinny Souza super fan, you could say, because we were having a chat at halftime, weren't we, Ewan? And you love the man, and you're going to get the yellow shirt with Vinny Souza on the back, aren't you?
Absolutely. I've not done that since Brian Dean days. But yeah, no, I think it's just what we've been missing for years, really. That sort of midfield general just seems to know what he's doing in the right places at the right time. Decision making spot on. It's just sort of cool and composed. So yeah, he's probably the best signing. I know that there's Archer, and obviously they bring the goals, but for me, probably one of the best signings of the summer.
Yeah, let's go through the team for a second and see what you think to it and see if you think that it was the right team for us to play. I don't think Hecky's made too many mistakes with the starting 11 yet with the players that he's had at his disposal because it's not been that much of a strong squad that we've been able to pick from in the first few games. So we had Wes in the goal, we had George, we had Anel, we had Egan, Robinson, Larouci. That's one that we'll probably get onto in a second. Then we had Hamer, we had Norwood, Vinny Souza, and then Archer and Ollie McBurney up front. We've got way too many Ollies, haven't we? So from that team, is there anyone that you would have picked that Hecky didn't?
Well, I think Larouci, I mean, he's injured now, but he's gonna not start, is he? I think with Thomas coming in, he's been a bit of a weak link. To be honest, I know with McAtee coming in and stuff, I don't think there's an awful lot of change about that starting lineup, aside from maybe possibly bringing in Bogle for Baldock. I did feel at times yesterday they were getting a bit more joy down the right-hand side than on the left. And I thought, if you had Bogle there doing a bit more than what Baldock can offer, it would have been a bit different. But I think by and large, I don't think that starting lineup changes a lot.
No, I think you're absolutely right. Let's bring our final guest in, and it is Kyle Whittam. How are you doing, mate?
All good, Nick. Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. We'll get on to talking about your boxing fight in a little bit because you want to plug that. I know you do. But first of all, I want to ask you, yesterday, for me, it started a little bit nervy. It felt like a lot of fans dubbing it as a relegation 6-pointer or a team that we needed to beat. Do you think yesterday, going into that game, we were thinking this is the first time we've got a really, really good chance of winning a game of football?
Factual, really. I think, you take that Crystal Palace game, put that to one side because we just didn't have the squad, the depth, and the injuries were piling on us at that point. And then since then, we've gone on a signing tirade, and we've come up against Man City. We're unlucky at Forest, but this was the first home game where, and I think the nerves were a massive factor, especially amongst the crowd, because the difference between the crowd at City and yesterday were two different games. So I think it were nervous. I don't think it helped us going behind early on, but I think we began to settle into the game and we started to compose ourselves. So I do really think that it was a big 2 points drop for us yesterday. And there's a lot of positives to take from that game as well, but unfortunately I think it really told amongst the fans as well that we thought that was a big 6-pointer. It is only early in season, granted, but I think that was a good opportunity for us to get off the mark.
I think we've got to say that we've improved week on week, because the first game, I don't think any of us expected anything from it, not because of who we were playing, but like you say, because we didn't have the squad assembled in time. Then we had Forest, and we certainly saw a lot of improvements in the play. We obviously lost to a last-minute goal. We lost to a last-minute goal against City, and we played really well for the most part in what we had to do to neutralise City. And then yesterday, we didn't concede a last-minute goal, which is great to see. But we did manage to get the point and get a point on the board. We're still not in the bottom three, which is what you want to see. Now, let's go into the first goal. We'll just mention it then, Riley. Is there blame attached to any players? Because I don't like assigning blame, but at the same time, I suppose you've got to, when every line is so thin that you need to make sure everybody does their right job to make sure we stay in this Premier League, because it's going to be really, really tough.
Well, I think in general, when you're conceding from a corner, you can't really put blame on one person. It's a team effort defending set pieces, and I think we've been quite poor all season defending crosses in general, not just set pieces, but just crosses, and that's just how it happened once again. I mean, pretty much every game this season we've conceded from a cross.
Well, it's every single goal that we have conceded this season. It's either been from a corner, as you say, from a cross from deep, in the air, on the ground. Every single goal we've conceded has been by a cross, which is really, really poor to see. George lost his man from the corner as well and just kind of stood there, tried to pull him back and just let him tap the ball into the net. So it was a great save by Wes. Wes had another really, really good game for me. Same as Pickford. Pickford had a fantastic game as well, saving a lot of really, really good shots from the boys. I think mostly it's down to lack of concentration, Ewan. And at the end of the day, like our defense, I went into this season thinking that our defense was going to be our strongest kind of attribute to the Sheffield United team. What do you think?
Sorry, is that to me, Nate?
Yeah.
I think they've kept the shape well. But like you said, they've not been able to deal with the bread and butter of defending, which is heading it out, keeping it out, and there's been a lot of goals coming from out wide, which is a concern, because the more you keep flagging and highlighting it, the more teams will start to do it, and then it'll just play into the minds of the defenders. I know that there's been a lot of criticism aimed at Egan, but it looks like he'll be out for a while, and looks like Anel will go in that central spot, and he seems to do quite well there. It seemed to be better when he was there instead of Egan, to be honest. And I know when he played there last season, there were a few comments that Anel seemed to be better in that central spot. So, yeah, I think we'll work our way out with these defensive issues. I think, yeah, we're 3 or 4 games into what is a tough Premier League, and we just need to bed things down. I think the international break's coming at a good time as well, so there's maybe a few things that can work on the training pitch.
Yeah, totally agree. Let's move on from talking about the defence. We might touch on it a bit later on as well, Kyle. But what I will say is that, in my opinion, I thought the 2 lads up front, McBurney and Archer, to say that they'd not had a lot of minutes this season, or Archer, I don't think he's had any minutes. So it was great to see those 2 linking up. Do you think they had a nice little partnership there?
Yeah, brilliant. And you know, Archer will be the story of the conversation, but I mean, if you go on Twitter, every Sheffield United fan is talking about Ollie McBurney's performance. I just want to take you back to a time where we had an end of the season, and I mentioned when everybody were against Ollie McBurney that guy was going to come good. I know what I'm talking about, mate. Ollie McBurney is class player, and yesterday that control and just to lay it off to Archer to ping that into that corner, that was a fantastic piece of play. That was Premiership material football for you right there. So, yeah, I was really pleased with that partnership. I think my concerns are, who do we bring on to do that impact? And, you know, I'm still I'm still behind Benny Traore. I don't think he particularly had a good game yesterday, but I think he will come good. But he's just got to get a bit more stronger on that ball. I think Braithwaite marshalled him as soon as he came on. So I'm looking forward to seeing him progress, but it's just who do we bring in, especially if there's an injury, to support that front line.
Do you think Benny Traore was the right man to bring on, Kyle? I was actually shouting for Asula to come on because I know how physical they were, Everton, yesterday. They had some big lads at the back. I thought that Asula might have put himself about a little bit more and might have helped Ollie McBurney out, because clearly McBurney is not 100% match fit right now, and he was flagging towards the end. Do you think it was the right thing to bring on Traore?
I'm not too sure. I think his decision making yesterday was, we need to get him behind this team, and I need a bit of pace so we can get to that byline.
I think we might be losing you, Kyle.
And, you know, I'm to the Lincoln game, but the
I'm just going to drop Kyle out just for a minute.
Came in, he was the person that was off.
Right, sorry. Kyle, I've just dropped you out for a minute because we couldn't hear a word that you were saying. So we'll come back to you when your internet's a little bit better. But same question to you, Riley, about Ollie McBurney and Cameron Archer. How do you think they kind of linked up together yesterday?
Ollie McBurney, absolutely fantastic. I could sit here for half an hour talking about McBurney yesterday. Absolutely brilliant. One of the best performances I've seen from a number 9 in ages. Since McBurney last season against Burnley.
Yeah, definitely. I think as well, he showed against Man City that he could come on and do that, because his touch against Man City was fantastic. He was bringing other players into the game. I think we've really struggled for that this season with seeing 2 very, very inexperienced strikers playing up front together, especially when you're doing the jump up as well. I think Asula and Benny Traore last season in the Championship may have struggled to lead that line. So making them do that in the Premier League when they are so inexperienced is a bit difficult. But Ewan, let's talk about the first goal. Like Whittam just said, how great it was, that the touch from McBurney, the great ball in from Harmer as well. McBurney brought it down and then laid it off to Archer. I think I said to you at half time, I thought that the pass back to Archer had a little bit too much on it, but it was just perfect for him to guide it into the corner, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think it was a great bit of play before that as well. If you look at the build-up in terms of switching from left to right, my man Sousa playing it out wide, and I think it's then Baldock and then lays it on to Harmer. I think I was critical of Harmer, weren't I, in that first half? I thought he was a bit sloppy at times, but then he showed that quality ball. I thought that was a really good, clever ball into McBurney. And then the way McBurney just sort of killed it and then just laid it with the right amount of pace for Archer, really. It was what we were crying out for that first half. We just needed to move it around a lot more quickly, and we did in that instant.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And I'm going to bring Kyle back in because I think we've got him back now a little bit. So let's talk about the second goal, Kyle. So, what did you make of it? Because obviously you could say it's a little bit lucky, but at the same time you make your own luck. And the play up to Archer, the ball from Bulldog, it wasn't just a hopeful long ball. It was a great ball into Harmer. He takes it on his chest, flicks it over to Archer, and then in one instance, he just takes it onto his right. The defender's bamboozled, hits the post, and the rest is history. What did you make of it, mate?
Yeah, like you said, Neil, Ed, really, you make it look. I mean, it was a fantastic piece of play. I think it definitely was Armour, wasn't it? Who kind of like over the shoulder sort of put Archer in, and when he's bearing down on goal, the timing of the goal as well, just about to hit half time, and he's pulled it onto his right, and he's bent that to go into the bottom corner. It's hit the post, and luckily it's pinged off Pickford's head and got it back at net. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. It'd been great if that had been 3 points, but unfortunately not. I think Archer was fantastic yesterday, and he's renewed some optimism in our front line since we lost probably arguably the best player of our generation in Iliman Ndiaye.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And going into half-time, Riley, I don't think any of us expected, after going 1-0 down, to be going into half-time winning, because that's just not how it goes for United at the moment, especially getting a huge slice of luck by hitting Pickford on the back or on the head or whatever it was. Did you see that coming?
Definitely not. I don't think anyone did. When we went a goal down, and obviously it were quite lucky. I mean, it's a good strike from Archer, but for it to come off post and then back off Pickford's head or his neck or his back or whatever, it is lucky. You've got to say it's lucky, really. You can't. There's no other way to put it, really.
Who did you think we were the better side in the first half, Riley? No. Okay.
I don't think we were particularly amazing in the first half. I was surprised that we were 2-1 up at half time, to be honest.
Fair enough. To be honest, I thought we were better, but that's what football's all about. It's opinions. I certainly thought that Everton were the better side in the second half. Ewan, do you think that Everton came out better in the second half? And because obviously 10 minutes into the second half, they were level.
Yeah, no, I think on the overall balance of play, they'll have shaded it. I saw some of the stats this morning in terms of their possession XG and stuff, that they were certainly creating better chances and things. I mean, I was particularly impressed by their Patterson at right back. I thought he was pretty good. Him in that, what do you call him on the right wing for them? 37, Garner. Garner. Yeah, I thought they were pretty good on the right, but that might be because we had the Larousse, bless him, on the left. But yeah, I think a draw at the end of the day for me was probably a fair result. And no matter what the Everton fans were saying.
Yeah, I think you're possibly right. I think a lot of fans, Kyle said it earlier on, that it is 2 points dropped, and I think you've got to look at it that way. But at the same time, I thought that Everton came to, I think they thought it was kind of 2 points dropped as well, because they came to win that game, you could see, from minute one. And a lot of people saying that, Everton are going to be the easiest team we're going to play at Bramall Lane all season. I don't believe that for a second, because there's going to be teams that are kind of halfway up the division that come to Bramall Lane and think this is an easy 3 points. And we're not going to give an easy 3 points to anyone, especially not at home, Kyle. What do you reckon? Riley, what do you reckon?
No, I don't reckon Everton's... I mean... There's no such thing as an easy game in Premier League, really, but I definitely wouldn't say Everton's an easy game, because they're a decent side. They're a much better team than people make them out to be. I know they were bottom of the league coming into it, but they've been very unlucky, I thought, against Fulham and against Wolves, where a few brilliant saves were all that had stopped them getting a few points on board. And obviously they had Neil Maupay up front, which never helps.
Absolutely. Looking at the stats, like Ewan just said, expected goals 2.62 to Everton. Ours 0.86, which is crazy, the fact that we scored 2 goals. But possession, 55% to 45 in Everton's favour. They had more goal attempts. We had more shots on target. I think it felt like a bit of a 50-50 game that Everton shaded, in my opinion. And I think the stats suggest that too. So, yeah, going into, obviously, the second half, 2-2, great goal from their point of view, maybe not from ours. Again, I don't want to assign blame. I don't know if you guys have seen it back, because it all happened very, very quickly, being in the ground. And yeah, looking back on it, I'm not sure what Bulldog's doing, where he kind of he's kind of marking 2 men at the back post and then runs into the middle of the box and leaves them to tap the ball in the back of the net. What do you think, Ewan? What have you watched it back?
Yeah, I watched it back this morning actually, because it all happened quite quickly. Watching it live, and you just think Dan Juma just popped up at the back post. But when you watch it back, it all starts off in, I think Everton play a loose pass in their half. We don't anticipate it that well. I think there's miscommunication between Norwood and Archer. And
yeah, they were both going to go for it, weren't they? And then Archer had to put in a diving tackle.
Yeah, and then that builds their move, and then it goes out wide. And then I think that the key bit for me, and I'm not making a scapegoat of Larouci at all. I know we'll talk about him.
Bless him.
But he comes forwards, I think, to Patterson, instead of just staying back a bit, because Patterson's still at the halfway line at that point. And if he just keeps in this position, because what that does, crucially, is Larouci's a few yards out of position then, and then Patterson just bombs on. He doesn't really need to stop his run. He just keeps going, because the move then links on from there, and Patterson whips a ball in. And I just think that little point there, if he'd have just hung back a bit and not pressured Patterson there when he didn't need to, then I don't think that goal happened. I know that's taking it a lot far forward, but yeah, I just think that was a key point in that move happening. And yeah, there was a tackle, I think, before it got laid back onto Patterson, where it's been messed about. But I do think had Larouci not come forward too much, he wouldn't have got caught out.
Fair enough. Let's try Kyle again. So left wing back Kyle. So Ewan just mentioned Larouci again. Thomas came on as well in that second half. What did you make of both of those games?
Sorry, apologies for connection. So, I mean, for me, I had this emotional tirade towards Larouci yesterday, and you know, I've sat down and I've thought about it, and you know, I don't think he's the best fit at that position at this moment in time. Not that he's a bad fit. I think he's certainly better than Max Lowe. But as soon as Thomas came on, I think it was an absolute reassurance at that position. I thought he was, first of all, working hard. You could see that he was up and down that pitch. I mean, there was one stage where he was chasing somebody to the right wing back's position. So I was really impressed when he come on. He really settled some nerves on that side of the pitch. And for me, I mean, we've only got a glimpse of him, but he's an absolute starter from the off now.
And he nearly scored a goal as well, didn't he? Great save from Pickford at the back post on the volley from Thomas. So from speaking to Leicester fans, it sounds like Thomas is going to be better going forward than defensively. So Riley, do you expect him to start in the next game? I think we're expecting that Larouci is going to be either out or at least struggling. Do you think that he's going to start in the next game, Thomas?
Yeah, I think he has to, really, because I mean, I don't think Larouci's been good enough, and I've tried supporting him. I've tried being nice about it, but I mean, he's injured now, and he injured himself. But I think a few games out at sea will do him good anyway, because he's clearly had a knock on his confidence. I think a few games out, take pressure off him. I think it'll be good for him.
I don't want to say this because I've said this a few times on the channel already, but Ewan agreed with me, so I'm going to let Ewan take the bullet here. What is Larouci good at, Ewan?
Intercepting, anticipation. Yeah, no, he is good at that, and he does get you then on the front foot going forward, and he is good going forward, and he has got a bit of pace going forward. What gets me about Larouci is when he's travelling backwards, he doesn't seem to run as quick. I just don't understand it. And he's done that a few times. It's like his he's treading water when he's running back, but going forward, it's like he's walking on water. So yeah, I think there's some aspects of his playing you think, yeah, you can see a player there, but I think when I was at the ground yesterday, a lot of the people around me were saying he looks more like a winger than a wing back, full back, because he doesn't seem to have that defensive nous, which I think we were discussing yesterday, Nick. Whenever he had the ball and he was sort of facing his own goal, there's a panic like about him making the wrong decision and passing it into their player or whatever. So yeah, I think there's a bit more work needed on him. You never know, a bit more coaching from Hecky and that they might improve him. So yeah, I'm never one for ruling someone out entirely, but yes, the signs aren't so good so far.
No, not really. Kyle, I want to move on to talking about Trusty for a second, because loads of Blades fans calling him to come into this team, and it's like, where do you play him? Because Jack Robinson seems to be playing better out of the three at the moment, it seems. I know I thought Anel had a really, really good game in central defence yesterday when Egan came on. Egan came on sorry. But is there a shout for Jack Robinson going to left wing back and just shoehorning him in just for that?
No. Forget about that idea, Nick. You're right. I mean, as a once absolute despiser of Jack Robinson, he's really won me over last season, and you can't fault him this season. He's been phenomenal out of the three. So yeah, I feel for Trusty because I'm excited to see him play. He adds real quality to our team, but at this moment in time, Eki doesn't have a problem in that situation, and Jack Robinson stays for me.
Fair enough. I like that a lot. Let's talk about Ollie McBurney's header at the back stick, Riley. It was so agonising. And do you know what? It was the last kick of the game. I knew it was the last kick of the game. I got my phone out and I started recording it. I'm like, this could be epic. This could be getting thousands of views, thousands of likes if this goes in. And it was so very close. I watched it back and he almost got himself away from everybody and then pushed the defenders and then kind of had a clear path to run through and head it on goal. What did you make of that moment?
Well, I thought it were in. I thought Pickford had tipped into the roof at net. I was ready to go wild, but it bounced away and then he's had another go at it and somehow still didn't go in. I don't know. Every time I watch it, I just hope this time it's going to go in.
I know. It was one of those where it felt like it was destiny to go in because we got the luck with Archer in the first half coming back off Pickford, but obviously Pickford made his luck by pulling that one out, and it was lucky on the second attempt anyway, because it hit Pickford on the head, on the hands, and it just hit the post, because that second save isn't a save, that's lucky, but the first one certainly wasn't. Fantastic save, and it's one of those that's going to be played for a long time. Let's just hope it's not going to be like the David Seaman Pesky Salido save that everybody keeps going on about forever and more. So overall, Ewan, what did you think to the game? Obviously, we picked up a point. We would have wanted 3. Do you think we deserved all 3?
No, I think, like I was saying earlier, I think on the balance, a draw is probably a fair result. Of course, I think, we should have nicked it, but I think that might have been a bit harsh on Everton, who probably played better than what I was expecting. But I thought, a draw was a fair result. I think I said to you, didn't I, that as long as we don't lose today, then I'll take that. Obviously, I wanted 3, but it was important to get that point on the board.
Yeah, it really was. Kyle, Everton. Last thought on Everton. So I felt like they were a very, very big side. I think this season, they're going to be not okay. I still think they're going to be in a relegation battle. But I think if they play like that for the rest of the season, I think they'll stay up.
Same. They were better than I expected them to be honest. I was assured that we were going to get 3 points yesterday. But I think their midfield was strong. They were very quick at playing the ball forward. And one thing that I think we need to be critical about is our ability to quicken the pace up to get the ball from front to back, which Everton did that numerous times yesterday, and the second goal spoke volumes of their ability to do so. So, yeah, I think they were good. I heard quite a few Scouse voices in the Burger queue afterwards that were very disappointed with the draw, and calling for Dyche's head. I think Dyche is the man to keep them up this season, if I'm honest. I think they're a good outfit.
Yeah, fair enough. No, so I think that's probably where we'll leave it. I just want to go through one more time around everybody and ask what they thought, who was the man of the match for them. So Riley, do you want to go first?
Definitely McBurney. 100% McBurney. I mean, I know Archer scored once and pretty much twice. Second goals, obviously, it's pretty much his goal. But McBurney was just brilliant. He was holding the ball up so well, and Archie wouldn't have been able to do what he did if it weren't for McBurney. I mean, obviously, first goal, it's a brilliant set by McBurney, and then layoff were perfect. I just think he's amazing. He wins absolutely everything, and he doesn't stop working. As long as he's on pitch, he'll be sprinting, and he gives his all for the team. I don't think you can ask for much more from McBurney from what we've seen this season so far.
Do you know what I saw as well? I will just bring this up. I saw on Twitter that people were calling for McBurney to get the captain's armband. He certainly seems like worthy of that. What do you think, Riley?
Well, to be fair, I won't be massively against it, but I mean, we're not in the dressing room. We don't know what goes off. We don't know who leaders are, so I suppose we can never really have a proper say on something like that. But from what we can see, he does seem a good leader.
Yeah, he does. And to be fair, we've been blessed with those. And I think Chris Wilder kind of started this all off with trying to sign leaders. And Egan's obviously up there. George is obviously up there. McBurney. Ollie Norwood's been the leader for a long time. Obviously, we lost Sharpie, but we've still got a lot of leaders in there. So, Ewan, what do you reckon? Who's your man of the match for this game?
Well, I know I'm a Sousa lover, but I've got to give it to McBurney. I mean, like Riley was saying, he was immense in all aspects of his play yesterday, holding it up, winning headers, great feet. I know you said you were making out a comment that I've got a feet fetish because he said he's got great feet. But he has got great feet. He's a bit of a tap dancer. I thought he was. Sorry,
Riley's spoken about McBurney for a bit. Do you want to speak about Sousa? I know you want to speak about Sousa, so go for it.
Well, I was commenting earlier that he is that sort of midfield general, as that bite, and I think he just offers us that protection. I think that the main difference I've noticed is we've commented already that a lot of the goals have come out from wide, but I can't recall one where they just literally ran through the middle. Whereas last season you could name occasions where they're just straight onto the central defenders, running at will, scoring goals. I mean, I think back to Archer's goals against us for Borough last season when he just sort of ran at will through the middle, and we haven't had that. And I think that is because of Sousa there. So, I think he was immense again yesterday. It'll be a great signing, but you've got to give man of the match to McBurney. He was just leading the line so well yesterday.
Kyle, man of the match.
McBurney, Archer, flip a coin. I thought they were both brilliant yesterday. McBurney did more minutes, so probably McBurney maybe, but I can't argue with the Archer man of the match, to be honest.
No, fair enough. Yeah, it always seems to be the fans vote for the players that score the goals, which is understandable. At the end of the day, if it wasn't for Archer scoring those two goals, I'm not sure if any other players on the pitch would have scored that goal that Archer scored yesterday. It was a fantastic, instinctive finish because he didn't have any time to think about that. It was just guide it into the corner with pace, and it was great to see. Before we move on, obviously, we're going to go into an international break now. I'm just looking at the fixtures, and I want to know how many points you guys think we're going to get from the next 6. So I'm going to run through them. So we've got Spurs next, away from home. We've got Newcastle at home. We've got West Ham away, Fulham away, Man United at home, Arsenal away. It doesn't look great, does it? Riley, do you want to tell me how many points you think we're going to get?
Well, I mean, I think we'll beat Fulham. That's only one there that I can say.
Away from home, though.
I just don't rate Fulham. I mean, I don't think they're a particularly great side now. They've lost Mitrovic and Polina don't want to be there. I mean, he were going to buy in on deadline day and they called it off. we've seen video of him walking through airport. He looked fuming.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Any other games that you think we can get any points from?
On paper, it don't really look like it, but you never know. You never know. I mean, West Ham, they didn't look amazing against Luton other night, so I definitely won't write us off in that, and I won't write us off in any game. To be fair, I mean, we've shown against Man City that we can fight and compete with anyone.
Yeah, definitely. There's Man United at home as well. I think we've got a chance. That there's Newcastle at home. I think any game at home this season, we will put up a really good fight. I can't see us losing by 3 goals in any games this season, to be fair. If we can take Man City to the wire, then we can do that against anyone. Ewan, what do you reckon? Any games that tickle your fancy there with Tottenham, Newcastle, West Ham, Fulham, Man United and Arsenal?
I think we'll probably get about 7 points. I think we beat Newcastle at home, just purely based on watching them yesterday and what they've been like and play. I think we get a point at West Ham. I think we lose against Spurs. I think we'll struggle against Fulham and Arsenal away. But I don't know. I just feel we'll beat Man U. Sticking my neck out.
So do I. I don't know why. But yeah, they've not been fantastic, Man United, this season up to now. Kyle, what do you reckon? Any games that you fancy?
Well, Newcastle at home is a derby in my house because my other half's a Geordie, so that's a problem in itself. So we've got to beat them, definitely. But I'm not going to go on a limb and throw some points out. I don't disagree with what Ewan said. You know, I'm not sure how optimistic I am against Manchester United away, but I think what we have demonstrated in these last few games is that we have the quality to compete in this league. So I think, you know, we've got a good chance to get in some points out of these next 6 games, and it's a must.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think that we are going to be looking at getting points from teams around us. Obviously, we're going to try and not lose those games because those are the games that get you relegated. But at the same time, I think if we can continue to play like we are playing, then we will spring surprises on a lot of teams this season. Paul's just mentioning the amount of players that we've got on international call-ups. I'm not sure anymore. We spoke about this at half-time, didn't we, Ewan? How many have we acquired since we've brought players in? And I don't think actually that many, because Sousa's Brazilian, so he's not really going to get a call-up anytime soon.
He should do, though, shouldn't he, really?
He should do, yeah. 100%,
he's better than Casemiro, isn't he?
100%. He's got great feet, great feet. We've got Gus Harmer, who, not sure, is a Dutch international in youth, but I can't see him getting a call-up until he kind of cements himself as a Premier League player. We've got Archer, we've got possibly we've got McAtee as well, that could be England youth call-ups as well. But obviously we've got Anel, we've got Egan. Egan may not be going now, who knows, with his injury. So I don't know. I don't think we've got as many as what we thought originally. But I'm happy with that. I want to see them all stay together. I want them to have a little bit of time off, but get back into it and be like, this is the Premier League. We need to make sure we stay up in this league. No time for going on holiday. No time for anything like that. So, let's try and get Hecky together with all the players and just carry on as we were. So, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you very much, gents. I want, first of all, Kyle Whittam to move out of the way and show us his background, because this is your home bar that you send videos to me about all the time.
What a boozer. Number 1 boozer.
Number 1 boozer in Sheffield, would you say?
It's up there. Yeah, definitely. It's had some good pies in here. It's a bit of a problem. I must admit. Yeah,
it's a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of booze in there as well.
Yeah, I mean, if Russians decide to invade, I'm all right. I'll just fuck on there.
And I think we should leave on that, because that's a great way to end the stream. Thank you very much, Riley, Ewan, and Kyle, for all jumping in. I want to give Kyle a chance for a second just to talk about his boxing fight that he's got coming up.
I'm retired. I don't know why you're saying I've got a boxing fight.
Oh, I thought it was yours.
No. So I mean, I'm part of a boxing club, and GBM Sports from Sheffield is managed by Izzy Asif, who's a massive Sheffield United fan. He's got a show coming up on Friday, the 6th of October. And there's a couple of Shoreham boys that are actually fighting that night. And, you know, as a former boxer, you know, one of the hardest things in these smaller shows is selling tickets. So we've got Naphtali Nembard, who's fighting. He's a diehard Shoreham boy. It's his professional debut. And the return of Liam Cameron, who's a former Commonwealth champion, also a Shoreham boy. So I just want to reach out to all Sheffield United. Buy a ticket. It's a new arena at Don Valley Stadium. It's a great event. It's got a title fight at the top of the card. And, you know, these smaller shows that GBM are putting on right now are fantastic. So get behind our boys, you know, and try and get hold of some tickets. Just go to, on social media, look at GBM, Naphtali Nembard or Liam Cameron, buy some tickets and let's support our people.
Very good, Kyle. Send me those links afterwards and I'll put it in the description. So, yeah, come back in 5 or 10 minutes' time and you'll see all the links in the description to go and buy your tickets. So thank you very much, boys, for joining me today. I wish we could have had an Everton fan on as well, just for a bit of balance. But at the same time, like, it's nice to be biased, isn't it? It is a Sheffield United channel after all. So, yeah, thanks, Riley. Thanks, Ewan. Thanks, Kyle. And we'll see you very, very soon.
Up the blades.